It was in this quiet neighborhood where Jody Miñarez was found. Oklahoma City police used criminal intelligence to find father Victor Miñarez inside the home and take him into custody. Shortly after, they found the decomposing remains of the baby in a trash can outside. It was the worst case scenario that officers feared. After arresting Miñarez on murder charges, they found the disposed body of baby Jody. This came just 1 week after officers say the father texted a friend, telling the mother she would never see her son again. But watching the search end at this home shocked neighbors.
There's very little crime. There's very little break-ins. Every once in a while you hear of one, but not very often.
Miñarez was homeless, and those living in northwest Oklahoma City tell us he was likely hiding away in this vacant home.
There have been a lot of houses that have been under construction in this area lately, and I don't know if he was, related to any of that stuff and knew about the house being empty, but it was a shock.
Neighbors say their hearts are with the family who filed an emergency protective order for the return of Jody after he disappeared with the father 2 weeks ago.
It just upsets me, a young mother with a young child. Now she's probably just devastated.
Oklahoma City officers say it was key to collaborate departments following up with Norman after Miñarez was suspected in this area. But investigators are still reeling over what they found.
That's a very tough situation, not only for the family, toughest for them, but it's also tough for the investigators on these cases. The officers who found the child, they have kids of their own, small children, and the homicide investigators have children. And so it's a heartbreaking case all the way around.
Officers at Norman Police tell us Miñarez did have legal custody of his son. However, they continued to investigate after the protective order and filed a missing person status on Tuesday. By Wednesday, criteria was met for an Amber Alert. Reporting in Oklahoma City, Megan Allison, 2 Works for You.
New details tonight after a shooting in North Tulsa leaves a teenager dead. It happened at the Apache Manor Apartments on North Marion Avenue. 2 Works 2 reporter Travis Guillory joins us now. And Travis, do they know what led to the shooting?
Well, Karen, police are still looking into what may have caused someone to shoot and kill the teen. TPD received a call just before noon and found the teen they say is a male shot dead inside one of those apartments. The homicide and gang units were on scene investigating, but officers say they received conflicting information about a potential suspect. As they gather information from a great number of witnesses, one of those witnesses actually took off running away from the complex and detectives. She was later caught and questioned, and as a helicopter circled the apartment buildings, officers tried to manage what they called an emotionally charged scene.
There were some witnesses and they spread out through the complex and we had to locate them, which involved a large police presence.
Now there's still no word on any arrests or a possible suspect at this time. Travis Guillory, 2 Works for You.
Developing now, a North Tulsa gun range shut its doors for the day after a man shot and killed himself inside. 2 Works for You reporter Lauren Callender is outside the 2A shooting center tonight with what police know so far. Lori?
Brian, it was a traumatic event for everyone inside the 2A shooting center. The man went inside, rented a gun, was shooting in the range like normal, but things quickly went sour when he turned the gun on himself. Now around 11, the 50-year-old man from Owasso, walked inside the range on Admiral Place. Police say the man put on protective gear for his eyes and ears, then fired shots in a bay. He then turned the gun on himself and fired a shot. The people in the range quickly realized something was wrong. Police say they tried to help but realized it was too late. The officers say this is one of the most difficult discussions to have with the victim's family.
Sometimes the family knows that the person was going through some things and they think maybe I could have helped them, and then sometimes they didn't realize it. And so you get the family trying to think maybe there's something I could have done, and it's tough. It is so tough.
Investigators as well as the medical examiner were inside the shooting center all afternoon. The name of the man has not been released. Live in North Tulsa, Lauren Callender, 2 Works for You.
New tonight, finally some answers for a Tulsa mother. We are working to learn more about the new developments in the case in North Texas.
Authorities just held a news conference and they have positively identified the remains of Johnny McElroy's daughter, Christina Morris. Today, McElroy laid flowers at the scene where the body was found in Anna, Texas. That's about 20 miles from Plano, where Christina was last seen in 2014, leaving a shopping mall parking lot with a man. Her mother spoke to the media just moments ago.
I must say, it's the most difficult day that I've ever faced in my entire life. I know my daughter, I know our daughter is in a better place. I know she's in heaven. I know she's proud of us for not giving up. I know she's smiling.
So heartbreaking. Neighbors near the scene say they're planning to have a prayer vigil tonight. Following her disappearance, investigators later found Christina's DNA in Enrique Orochi's car. He was convicted of kidnapping charges and sentenced to life in prison.
New details tonight after a car crashed into a Tulsa home this morning, killing a man. This happened in Midtown near 4th and Louisville. Police believe the driver had a medical problem that caused him to run off the road, and the man died at the hospital. Police are looking for a man they say robbed a South Tulsa bank. Officers say a man went into the Arvest Bank near 91st and Delaware, pointed a gun at a teller and demanded cash. They said the man then ran from the scene. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
A Tulsa school was on modified lockdown today as officers searched for a reported armed man. Police said it started as a domestic dispute at an apartment complex near 51st and Memorial. And while officers searched, Dove School of Discovery was put on lockdown. Officers still looking for that man. And while experts believe the peak of flu season has passed, it has taken a terrible toll on Oklahomans. The Oklahoma State Department of Health says we lost 2 more people last week, and a total of 228 Oklahomans have died from the flu since September. Although the numbers are still high, the number of new hospitalizations related to the flu has kept dropping. The health department says it appears we have hit the peak of flu season.
It will certainly feel a little more like spring the next few days.
Our Mike Collier is tracking the conditions from the Weather Center for us. Mike.
Well, good afternoon, Karen and Brian. Yeah, the weather was nice today, even nicer the next couple of days as we track yet another chance for rain by the weekend. But right now, though, temperatures very pleasant. Tulsa 58, Broken Arrow 57, Jinx coming in at 60, as well as Bixby and Sapulpa in the lower 60s at this hour. Outside, mostly fair skies, and we're going to see sunshine tomorrow with warmer afternoon highs, and stronger winds are going to rip back into eastern Oklahoma before we track our next chances for rain. Good news is the rain chance is a little lesser than what we were talking about yesterday. We'll share that with you, the extended forecast, in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Happening now, hundreds of thousands of customers in the Northeast still in the cold and dark. The second major storm of the week brought in heavy snow and winds again, knocking down trees and power lines.
Meteorologist Brandon Woolley joins us now to show us how bad it is there. And Brandon, it isn't over yet.
Karen and Brian, as you can see on the radar, snow is still falling this evening for a region still reeling with last weekend's deadly storm. Wednesday's nor'easter brought a second deadly wave. A woman in New York State was killed by a falling tree. Trees have fallen across the area from the weight of the snow. Cars have been covered until they were unrecognizable lumps in the bitter cold. Power lines have fallen, some sparking fires, and even reports of thunder snow, which are thunderstorms producing snow. While this system has mostly passed, New England will still get wind and residual snow showers through Saturday.
We got from 3 inches to, lots of inches of snow. Obviously, this was very heavy snow, and people should take caution. This is our own version of March Madness.
That's a good way of putting it. Hundreds of flights were canceled today, according to FlightAware. The main area of low pressure continues to weaken over Maine and shift northward. Our forecast model shows another coastal storm could bring more snow and strong winds to the East Coast by early next week. As of now, the timing is Monday night and Tuesday morning, but the timing and track of this could certainly change in the coming days. Karen?
All right, thank you, Brandon. New tonight, the president's tariffs are now one step closer to reality. President Trump signed a proclamation setting them in motion, though the policy is still not yet set in stone. The president signing 2 proclamations imposing tough new tariffs on foreign aluminum and steel.
The workers who poured their souls into building this great nation were betrayed, but that betrayal is now over.
The controversial policy to take effect in 15 days, but the president is promising flexibility. He says close allies such as Canada, Mexico, and Australia may be exempted pending further negotiations. The White House intends to keep a 10% fee on imported aluminum and 25% on steel.
New developments on tensions with North Korea. President Trump says South Korea is scheduled to make a major announcement tonight. 2 of its top officials are at the White House meeting about North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. On Wednesday, North Korea offered to have talks with the U.S. over normalizing ties and removing its nuclear weapons. Now to one of the world's greatest aviation mysteries. Today marks 4 years since Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared while flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. The plane was carrying 239 people. Australia, China, and Malaysia have spent more than $150 million searching for the plane. And now a private U.S. group will continue the search for remains. The hope is that the black box recordings might be salvageable and reveal something about the crash.
Next at 5, retailers still struggling as more people turn to online shopping. Ahead, we check out those store closing sales to find out if the deals are worth it.
Also, basking in the sun, how growing up in a sunny climate could prevent some illnesses. I'm Brian Sanders.
I'm Karen Larson. You're watching 2 Works for You at 5.
Welcome back. New tonight, another sign brick and mortar stores are in trouble. Toys R Us is closing locations across the country.
Some reports say the entire chain could be at risk of going out of business. Now, before you go hunting for deals, though, 2 Works for You reporter Micah Hatfield has a warning.
The sales are underway at closing Toys R Us stores, with signs saying up to 40% off. Sarah Fisher came looking for deals.
I have 2 babies. They're 13 months apart, and we're just trying to get some stuff for them.
But once inside, she found no markdowns on diapers and no discounts on Lego sets with the yellow dot, which included most larger sets like Star Wars. And up to 40% off does not mean 40%, as Lori Anderson learned.
I don't know that I saw anything 40% off. Most of it was 20, and there was a lot of 10s. A lot of the infant stuff was 10% off.
The best way to check out a store closing sale: don't go in with a shopping cart at first. Instead, go in with your smartphone and check prices at Amazon and Walmart, just to make sure you're really getting a deal. Compare prices and you'll find this Graco Nautilus 65LX car seat was $169 on sale for $152. But we found it for $144 on Amazon with free shipping. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, 20% off, $59 is $48. But Walmart.com has it for just $24.62, $20 less. We found some good sales. Beauty and the Beast Grand Romance figures at $31.98 were $3 cheaper than Walmart. And Peg Perego motorized cars were cheaper than we found anywhere else.
Oh, I got my son a whole lot of toys for his birthday.
Lenice Williams says while the sale wasn't quite what she hoped, she did okay and her little boy is happy. Micah Hatfield, 2 Works for You.
A little bit of a warning though, store closing sales, no matter what the store, should always be shopped with skepticism. Make sure you're buying the real deal, and remember, you cannot return it.
All right, today was a nice day, a little on the cool side. Temperatures right now in the upper 50s. We have east-southeast winds about 10 miles per hour. The air is still dry, but we're going to get some moisture back into the air the next couple of days as south winds begin to roar and pull that moisture back here in eastern Oklahoma. If you're heading outside this evening, still jacket weather as temperatures will be chilly in the 40s at 8 o'clock, temperature by 10 in the mid-40s. But look at the quick warm-up into the mid-60s at lunchtime tomorrow as southwest winds begin to pick up, and they'll become quite breezy tomorrow afternoon. But let's focus on tomorrow morning through around 11 a.m. If you're heading out for a jog or a walk, maybe taking the dog for a walk, temperatures 8 a.m. in the upper 40s, 50s at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. in the upper 50s, and already in the lower 60s by 11 a.m. with southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting at times 25 to 30 miles per hour throughout the day. Now, we're going to get moisture moving back in by late Friday night into Saturday morning. So past couple of days, our models have showing a pretty good chance for rainstorms in our area. But look at the new data that continues to pour in at this hour, keeping the highest chances for rain southeast of Tulsa, down the Eufaula and Stigler area, not until late in the evening. So I've updated the forecast, brought the chances for rain down for Tulsa, and have kept them higher to the southeast of us from Eufaula to Stigler to Poto and Fort Smith and Muldrow. That's where your highest chances for rain will be on Saturday.